welcome to the 45th episode of DevKami.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Chi Leung.
I am Tristan.
I'm
I'm
Nicholas.
Sui Ming.
Yeah.
And of course,
So-
Nicholas is above
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think.
we are the Brady Bunch.
all right. So we have the names displayed anyway. So let's go to the usual one, events. I feel like it is.
Yes.
Yeah. And for
Check out
This
the
looks
website.
so professional. What happened to Pinchai?
yeah.
Yeah. And what is going to happen for this next week? So happening today is actually Women Who Code Asia Cosmos TV event, which I think
Yes.
is pretty much concluded.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
then there is a workshop on Saturday.
Mhm.
Data visualization with Power BI is for beginner
Yep.
level. It's also organized by Elian, which is one of friend.
Yeah.
There's nothing much going on besides next Thursday, which is introduction to legal tech. I'm not sure what.
So this happening at the arbitration center. You never heard about that because it's actually slightly outside of our scope. It's actually not too far from my place, but it's not easy to walk. It's near, it's actually not far from KL Central. Very near to the old KL KTM station. So yeah, it's a bit boring today, but this month
Yeah.
we had a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
that's
And let's go to the bus corner. Look at that. So
Okay.
What we have?
what is going on? As you notice, we are, as you see from the professionality of the whole thing, we are not using Google Hangout anymore, and that is because Google Hangout for live is dead. So we're using StreamYard right now. That provides us this.
Yeah, and you forgot to share the
Yeah.
link. I think
Yeah.
the YouTube link is not shared.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to share it. Yeah. So what is going on?
So we
Swimming?
had a few things. First thing is Google Hangout is dead.
Yeah.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace. No,
Uh,
Google
yeah.
Hangout Live is dead.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss
Google
you.
Hangouts to YouTube.
So what else? I don't know. I can't see. I'm sure we have some interesting thing happening last week. Oh yeah, Linux Journal is shutting down. The website is dead really soon.
Yeah, but they
The
offer
guys
you
at
to download.
engineers.my. So the engineer, yes, I download all the thing, and the guys from engineers.my, including Chi Leung and a few guys, are trying to keeping it running. I hope that Internet Archive will also do the same thing because those are very, very good resources.
What do you
So-
know why they're shutting down? No funding or something?
No
Funding.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always publication, news publication, paper publication is actually dead nowadays. I blame you nerds. Stop reading magazines.
But isn't it the same thing as the Maker zine, right? The Maker.
Yeah. Because magazine had the same
I
problem.
think because it's a bit
but-
of a big of combination of issues like mismanagement and
Yes.
stuff. But I think for the Linux one is they are more traditional, so I think it's
Correct.
pretty much sunsetting.
So Make Magazine, the issue is that they try to scale too fast for a group that do not get it. They oversell. That's my opinion. Whereas the Linux Journal people, they are very old school in the way that they do not seek to be hyper growth, and they focus mostly on Linux. Unfortunately, first thing is people do not actually respect pre-publication anymore. That's one of the factor among people of our demography. And second is Linux sysadmin things are not hot among people of our demography. So that's the reason of Linux Journal are shutting down. They're huge name in the old days. So what other thing do we have? Oh yeah, we have Humble Bundle had a few new bundles for programming.
I bought
let's
one.
see.
I was wondering actually
The
if
data
we wanted
analyst
to
one?
review those things. No, not. I didn't buy the packet
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I just don't buy packet books because I don't find them
Okay.
of good quality. But I bought the one for data science analysis and those things.
Yeah.
And I was
Yes.
actually thinking if we should, like, when there's a good bundle or when there's a very bad bundle, then we should try to talk
Yeah.
about it as a segment in DevKami.
Yeah, we
So
should. And also a big disclaimer. I actually hoping for you guys' feedback. I'm thinking whether to add the humble bundle partners program for DevKami. I don't have a strong idea whether we should because we actually bought a lot of books from Humble Bundle. So something
and
to
then
think
we
about.
can do a
Leave it in the
review about
comment.
it. I think we can review
Yeah.
it and then see if people like it, then they can buy it from the DevKami link.
Yeah. So I
Good
don't.
idea.
So but we don't have the link yet. It's something I'm thinking to set it up.
I have one, but it's a personal
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see.
So what else? There's a lot of there's a lot of data breach as usual.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, nowadays I think we should understand that its security should be treated more seriously, especially when
Yes,
you build.
there's the one where the KYC info was leaked, right?
Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
Telegram
Yeah.
group. And of course,
So
the Bitcoin Facebook groups are posting the links everywhere, just like throwing a shade at all of the banks because see, look, all of your KYC data is now available. Why don't you just switch to Bitcoin where KYC is not needed?
yeah. So
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
so
What else?
then something that is slightly off topic, but very important. FINAS, the Malaysian Film Authority, had been blaming Android bots for piracy.
Yeah.
Not we might mock them, but it's not the first time an industry group had such a hostile stand against technology, especially. So not big issue. They might just shout and nothing happened, but the Ministry of Communication is seriously considering considering banning such Android box.
I think there's a really big conflict of interest in there because people who try to
Yeah.
promote it are trying to sell their own service. Like people from
Correct.
Star, Astro,
Yes,
trying to push their own platform.
correct.
Yeah.
And
So-
the way they paint Android TV as in everybody, like most people, they're gonna use it for pirated content. Like I'm
Yes.
an Android TV user, like, but I use it mainly for YouTube, Twitch, and Netflix. So yeah,
I pay for my Netflix. Proud of it.
What's the advantage of these Android TV boxes? Because I just hook my laptop up with my TV and
yeah.
that's how I do it.
No,
it's for-
technically
Yeah.
not much. But that being said, if you things like the Mi Box and all that, they have all the setting ready to use. Most of it. So for example, they have Netflix ready to use, YouTube ready to use. Setup is still not. It's the same as your laptop to me, but the app is ready to use. That's the main thing
Yeah.
actually. And for some, unfortunately, in this case, the finance people are not wrong in the way that a lot of these boxes have the app ready for Chinese content provider, which is legally questionable. Those exist, but that alone is not a reason to block a piece of technology, as that those are very good way to consume legal content. So, and we cannot use. So it may start with Android box. It doesn't work. What next? Are we going to ban computers? Know what I mean? It's a bit weird. So, which is why I have my concern on it.
Yeah.
So, anything else that's interesting from your side before I take over the channel?
There's nothing much going
Nothing.
on.
Yeah, there's nothing much actually because everything seems normal. Our account still got leaked. Password still on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
Same
People
week,
coming up
same week.
cybersecurity strategies.
Chi Leong, you can make it the visual with Simeng taking over the channel by making him the largest
Okay.
video here, right?
Yeah.
So the layout, look
Make
at
it
that.
symbolic.
Yeah.
So professional.
So-
What happened?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
know
we
that.
can be careful of your comment. Don't look at that. I can actually highlight the comments.
Oh, the
Oh
new
yeah,
media.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
speaking of our
Like this
commenters, we
comment
have
from Chris Lowe. Wow, look like TV.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
for people who are currently watching, it would be good if you can also like click on the um, thumbs up button, because apparently the YouTube algorithm looks at the initial like minutes of
mhm.
video, and if
Yeah.
people start liking it, then they push it up in results. So and it allows more people to see it because it gets
Yeah.
recommended.
Yeah. Look at
If you
that.
can just
Yes.
click on the
I know, right?
if you can just
so
if
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
just
So
click on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
So
today's goal is actually pretty simple. We are actually beta testing this. No, we are not beta test. We are testing this platform because Google Hangout for live for YouTube is dead.
stay.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. The new
So we're
feature
testing
that.
this. We do not know what we can do with this actually. So this was a test for us to see what works and what doesn't.
yeah.
So now we are at the swimming's corner.
Gee, thanks.
So, all right,
Thanks.
indulge us.
Indulge
So,
us.
yeah, what we're
So
going to
biggest
talk about.
problem now we have no idea what to talk about this time, right?
As usual, right?
That's yeah,
No,
it's
you come
usual.
up with some idea.
Yeah, we
Maybe.
have.
Yeah.
So I've been running PyCon for a while. You guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
You mean
PyCon
running
happening
as
in
in
2 weeks now.
running it and taking management, like being the head, or like we're running it and meaning letting others
Uh,
run it and you're just bossing
current
them around?
Currently, most other people are doing most of the work, but I'm still like one of the old men.
Yeah.
One of the old men that have,
Um,
my opinions. My opinions still had weight, which is scary. It scares me. But this year's
Yeah.
experience is very cool because we had a lot of new faces uh, running
Oh,
the
that's
show,
good.
and a lot of people are not running it. Some running for first time, some are not. Uh, I've been complaining that why don't people run more events and all that, right? The short answer is it's a lot of work. So here's what's happening for PyCon people right now. Oh my goodness, I forgot about transferring money for the T-shirt. I need to do that now. So they have to go hunt for T-shirt
okay.
vendors. They have to find speakers, and in between. So the thing is, who should be the speaker? What should be the speaker? That's a lot of work, right? Early days of PyCon is we do not know who will talk, right? We have to beg for our friend to give talk.
Yeah.
This is
there was
different. We
some.
actually
Yeah.
overflow with talk. Huh?
But there
What?
were some. I'm really touched by people volunteering, like people from all around the world volunteering to come here, like
Yeah,
buy their own ticket, sponsoring
Oh,
themselves,
yeah.
and
yeah.
come over to talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Correct.
a conference as
Uh,
well, not just PyCon. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still effort for you to find the talk, right? Whether you
Yeah.
want to fit the team and all that. So I know Tristan have done that for Ruby, right? They have the same
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah, but then we have Jimmy to and his contacts to help out. So and
Yeah.
generally
Yeah.
Ruby people are nice people, so they're like,
Yes.
I guess we have the advantage of like, yeah, like that, people offering their support. So I'm like,
And open source communities, open source language community have this little advantage, right?
Yeah.
We
mhm.
try to get people to come over, and they will come. They will come. For us, I know it's a bit. For me personally, in PyCon, we go a very different route. We want to build local capability, which is why, unlike other conferences, tech conferences in Malaysia, uh, it's not a bad thing. They have a lot more overseas speakers come in to give talk for other conferences, and that's a good thing because people will learn from others, right? For me, for PyCon, we go another route. We want to be as much possible grow the local capability. So some people turns off because like locals, but we had a lot of actually had a lot of talented locals that don't have a chance to come out and talk. And I think it's pity. So, which is why I take conscious effort to get more people, right? And that's actually make things very hard. I just realized how hard is the team to actually find speakers after so long for not doing conference, right? Then money, finding people to sponsorship money, a lot of stuff. So I think the first thing I want to say here is, if you join local conferences, event or whatnot, thank your speaker, thank your organizer. Maybe give them a hug or not. I
Right,
don't
we
know
have a
yet.
question. Look at that.
Yeah, how do we determine who? The short answer is
This is so interactive. Wow.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
television.
How do who can talk who can't talk? The short answer is
Well, in DevKami,
as
we just
interesting
interrupt each
as
other.
possible. Yeah. Yes, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So how do we know who can talk, can't talk? The short answer is impress us with your introduction and topic. Then the crew here actually have to ask a lot of questions. What's interesting? What's your topic about? So for the Python guys, if you say we do an IoT product in Python, what does it mean? Versus, I'm going to give an example from a friend Andre from Indonesia, will be a speaker. It's like, okay, we are using MicroPython to run a small machine learning application to analyze photo to do internet on the edge. So what's the difference between having a Python to do IoT versus we do internet on the edge using a MicroPython and whatnot, right? The MicroPython one had a lot more detail, and they hit something that impressed us by giving a bit more detail than just the IoT, because often when people say IoT, they just use Raspberry Pi do things. We have a lot of those. We have actually have a lot of those demo. But on the other hand, in this year's PyCon, we also accept things that seems boring. So for example, how do you do Django website? Because we do not have enough of those. We have this year PyCon is heavily going toward data science. We sometimes want to balance it out with some basics, and that's good. So here's the rule of thumb. Tristan, if you disagree with me, please interrupt. Here's how you if you have a talk and you want to get them talk, two things: make it interesting, give enough detail. Who you are generally doesn't matter.
Yep.
So
Generally,
would you agree, Tristan?
generally that's the case, but it's
Yeah.
what would happen after that. So it doesn't mean that if you have like one of these interesting talks and
Yes.
it's well prepared, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be picked as well, right? Because other people are
No,
going
not
to, yeah, they're all going to
correct.
be in the same boat, and so sometimes the
Yes.
organizers will need to remove duplicates. Like
Yes.
let's say in Ruby, for example, in the Ruby world, Rails 6 is coming out soon, and most
Yeah.
likely any conferences that are happening around that time when Rails 6 is finally released will be talking about Rails 6. And
Yes.
so it's going to be a bit difficult if you also talk about Rail 6 when everyone else is also talking about Rail 6. Most likely they will just invite someone who is a core committer in the Rails group to be talking about that. But
Precisely.
let's say you're talking about something, and so what happens now is that there's duplicates and there's also like a general balance, like what you mentioned, general balance between skill levels. You'll have like advanced topics, specialized
Mhm.
topics, and beginner friendly topics. And if there's too
Yeah.
many, let's say, of specialized topics, like I don't know, in Python maybe there's too many um,
Data
pandas,
science.
yeah, data
Yeah.
science, pandas related talks, Jupyter related talks,
Mhm.
then they will try to find that specific data science talk that does not talk about everything else that everyone
Yeah.
has talked about. If it's about a beginner,
Precisely.
then you're not going to talk like get someone like Meng to talk about beginner topics. Most likely organizers will try to get someone who's really like a beginner, like an accountant who started learning Python because of a boot camp, and then talk about their
Yes.
learning. So it's about
Yes.
so the organizers have a very difficult job because there's a lot of really good talks, but they also want to present a good presentation, like to give a good experience to the attendees. And
Yes.
part of making like creating that good experience is mixing and matching presentations, so there's a flow and there's something that people can take from it, and it's not just like the same things that people have been getting. So it
Yeah.
is difficult work.
So it's like playing Tetris, believe it or not. And
Who's
also
playing
the
Tetris?
schedule is like
Oh yeah,
it's
okay,
like
it's like
playing Tetris.
Mhm.
Yeah, too much of those you lose the meaning. Cause a mess. Now you stack it up. Then in between you have to feed it to the schedule. So you do not want to have the same talk in the same out same period. So yeah, it's essentially Tetris.
Especially if you have like
So yeah,
multi room, like concurrent talks, and then you have
yes,
like all of the interesting talks are in just one room, and then like all of the beginner talks in another room, then your that other room is not going to be like people are just going to be all on this
it's
really
like
interesting room.
it's like balancing the
yeah,
binary tree.
Mm.
yes,
Yeah.
If you want to bring it.
yes.
Great
In a
question.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
in
it's
a
a
week.
good question.
Yeah. No more questions.
No more question.
Okay.
Okay.
So well, back to savings corner.
Yeah, back to
Savings
So
savings
corner.
corner.
anyone to do corner like Nicholas or Tristan corner?
No,
So that's my reflection. This is my reflection now.
Savings
I
corner.
think
I like
Tristan is
it.
Nicholas
other
should
people.
take a reflection. Any reflection you have?
What sort of reflection?
So
I say it's like
anything tech-ish?
introspection. Or something?
Yeah. So I thought
Reflection.
about my experience letting people running Python, right? And what I
You
observed is
actually
that,
letting people run. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Reflection.
So,
Yeah.
Nicholas, what's your anything you discovered among the little scene here?
Anything that I discovered? Well, mm, I have kind of just discovered how to kind of delegate tasks to certain people.
Uh
So
huh.
yeah, I
So,
was
what?
I was kind of assigned this uh, kind of this freelance task. So
Uh
the
huh.
the subtasks inside the freelance task were so big that I had to actually spread it around. So I managed to find a few
Yeah.
friends and I managed to come up with a certain task cost so much, so I can actually
Mm-hmm.
divide and conquer each little task separately.
Okay.
But the thing I learned is that there has to be a clear definition of what each task is. So, for instance,
Yeah.
it's like one article, one article, one article. So each article, one person will take care of it, and they will get paid accordingly to that article's allocation of payment.
Right.
Yeah.
So you discovered some project management.
Well, in a small way, yes.
Okay. So so what kind of project is it? Is it a content project or a web development project?
It's a non-tech project. It's actually just
So
transcription, yeah,
okay, so
transcribing.
it's a more content.
Well,
Cool.
yeah, it's more towards the content.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So
Yeah.
how do you discover the step and all that?
Um, well, like I said before, I got the task right, and I
Mhm.
realized that they wanted to allocate like 470 hours of recording to transcribe. So I had to think because I tried it out. They gave me a trial recording to transcribe, and it took so long because it was like number one, they promised me to transcribe to Malay text, and
Mhm.
it was an Indonesian recording. So some of the slangs and everything are a little bit hard to hear. So I did the best I could, and I discovered that transcribing like 1 hour of recording takes a few days because you have to type out the
Yeah.
dialogue and everything.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
I heard about rants from people like doing those video editing to put in subtitles. Like for a short
Mm.
10 to 15 minutes of a video to subtitle them requires a whole day of work. I mean, for one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually do admire the talents of certain people in my company. I work in a radio station also, so there are a few people who actually transcribe, who can transcribe, and there's actually one talented guy who does the transcription quite well. You can actually go to the website there, but yeah, and you can actually there's a dialogue again that he actually transcribe one by one. So yeah, so from there I actually discovered how to like delegate tasks to certain people.
Cool. That's
What's
very
with the
interesting.
what's with the
What's the
ducks?
sound?
Was that quite
What's with the
noise?
ducks?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
That yours?
I'm scratching something.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
thought it's something from Streamlabs because the mascot is actually a
Yeah,
duck.
the mascot is actually a duck.
Oh, I didn't notice that when I rub my finger on the cardboard box that serves as a table, it makes so much noise.
Now you know.
Interesting.
It's Vino. I think it's Vino. Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
that's basically about that. What I
Uh-huh.
off the top of my head. That is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tristan,
Mhm.
any introspection about tech and stuff that you want to talk about?
No, not.
Apparently, we're doing
Pointing the wrong way.
Oh, like
Well,
this.
I can talk about like you remember the talk I did with JavaScript and microcontrollers. I did the same
Yeah.
for Ruby and microcontrollers.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
I did the same. And what I can say is that in like if I compare the maturity of those, I would say MicroPython would be at the most mature in terms of
Yeah, the
like
head start.
making it really easy for users to program a microcontroller. Of course, Arduino is like the most. It's like at the very top, right? Arduino,
Yeah.
the Arduino environment, which runs on C and C++, and then you have MicroPython. I haven't tried Lua, so I don't know where it is. Then comes JavaScript. Ruby is like really not there yet. It took me quite some time to get things working because there's no such thing. Like for example, in MicroPython, you'd even have like binaries, like images, downloadable. Whereas in the Ruby world, you'll have to compile your own firmware. And of course, compiling your own firmware means knowing how to create, like how to make, like doing the make stuff on menu config, making sure your GCC options are compatible because like what I discovered is that on Disco Dingo, because the GCC version has changed, it's not compatible with their recommended GCC versions. And so some of the compiler flags, you have to make sure that it ignores the new warnings and errors that GCC 6 to 8 will output because their code base will trigger those and then it won't compile and all of these stuff. So it's not as polished yet, and I don't know. I would prefer programming in Ruby because I just feel that it's a bit more conversational, a bit more familiar as well than C and C++. But for now, if you're doing microcontrollers, still can't avoid C and C++. There is like I think Chi Leong had mentioned in the DevKami channel something of Tiny Go or something, and there seems to be some support in porting that over to microcontrollers as well.
Yeah. It's
But
a
I haven't
subset.
really.
It's actually a subset of Go that runs on the LLVM backend.
Hmm.
So because of that, it
Wait,
actually compiles the native codes. Yeah.
yeah. So does that mean you're still running like a VM in Go?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
sorry, not VM, but the garbage collector
Yeah.
and a runtime.
Runtime. Yeah. You still run it,
It,
but as
hmm.
a minimal version, just like MicroPython.
No, MicroPython runs a VM,
Yeah.
so and
Just
it
like
actually
MicroPython.
compiles on the fly, right, Swimming? I forgot. I think it compiles on the fly on the processor itself. Whereas in Ruby, so the way Ruby does it is that you actually compile your code into bytecode and then upload that. So it's already
Yeah.
pre-compiled to
And
go into.
TinyGo actually is actually supporting like a lot of the devices, like some of the Adafruit or BBC microbits.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's actually leveraged on the LLVM, so it's literally native codes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of the microbit, I ordered one and I ordered a kit and gave it to my niece, but my brother was the one who enjoyed tinkering with it. But it's actually quite cool. It's a lot more professional uh, in terms of like the polish of the hardware itself than many of the other stuff that came out. Oh, swimming's back! Yay!
Yeah. What
So
happened?
uh,
Something mysterious.
yeah, so
A lot
microbit is very polished.
of internet and my router is across the wall. A lot of these
Oh,
are
Mm,
investment
yeah, so we're
not
not.
totally. A lot of this is just not know the reason
Yeah, is
behind
someone
people.
yeah is
If
someone
yeah.
torrenting on your end
investing time
again?
out
Yeah,
the
because we're losing you swimming.
Yeah.
but okay now is the router is across the wall. I should move it toward the wall.
Okay.
All right. So
Mm.
investment
Oh,
of infrastructure,
yeah, it's
right?
actually improved.
Yeah.
I'm moving the wall. Okay,
You're
so
moving the
investment
wall.
of
Yes.
infrastructure, right?
You're fully a wall.
The wall.
The wall. Swimming, the wall mover.
Yes. Yeah. So I do not know whether this happened already, guys. ESP8266 version of the MicroPython.
No, you need to move the wall again,
Huh?
swimming.
Yeah, move a little bit more, like 1 inch.
Yeah. Just like how we move like our CSS and margin. Margins.
Yeah, alignment.
It's like Siemens' house is so meta that he uses CSS to describe it, and the house just builds the structure according to how he defines it. Software defined housing.
SDCH.
Am I
Yeah.
in?
Yeah. We're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we're just filling in
investment, right?
whenever you're like dropping off.
Okay, so one of the one for ESP86 for for MicroPython is actually ESP266, and here's the interesting that happened.
Swimming, can you try to remove your videos to see
Support.
whether it will improve?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, press the
Just,
start camera.
Just start cam. Yeah. Just stop your cam. Yeah. Sometimes it helps.
Stop. Downloading movie downstairs.
Yeah.
You just access the router and block, or at least do a QoS on the ports.
You probably need that.
Yeah, a quota.
Yeah, so microbit seems to be quite very polished. MicroPython, in by the way, runs on the microbit, and it's like at least the components themselves look like very high quality. It's as if I guess it was designed for a child to abuse it a lot, but still survive.
So it's
So
a very sturdy machine.
sorry, which one?
The microbit.
The
Because you
microbit
mentioned
is yeah, they built it for like it used to be from the BBC, and they transferred it over to the Microbit Foundation, and they wanted to replicate the microbit. Sorry, the micro BBC Micro from a number of years ago, a number of decades ago, which tried to introduce computing to the masses.
Yeah.
Sorry, swimming. Are you back?
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about 8266.
On hardware for MicroPython.
I don't know. I think
it's actually built because of a Kickstarter, and everybody source code everyone. It's crazy.
yeah, I feel that Swimming's internet connection depends on his excitement levels. The more excited he is, the more his
Yeah.
internet drops.
Mm.
So
Yes.
we actually missed the really good parts that you mentioned. I think what we
Yeah.
got was that for MicroPython, it started off with a Kickstarter, and so people backed it and then released the source code if it was successful. I guess one of the tiers.
I think that's part of the tiers, yeah,
Mm.
part of the rewards.
Yeah, so Ruby didn't have that. It was open source from the very beginning. I don't think they do a lot of Kickstarters. Um, so it's a lot. I guess it's a lot more grassroots, which is probably the reason why everything is still very unpolished, the way you would expect maybe like the Linux kernel from way back during its first few years to be unpolished, because they're like all grassroots. You don't have images, you don't have the conveniences that you would get, because you would expect everyone who would use it to be like familiar with compilation or with make files or with setting up their own environment so that it can compile C and or C++. So it doesn't have those right now, but hopefully eventually it comes to a point where microcontrollers are the next like unit of computing, not the Intel
I don't even know what
knuckle.
is a microcontroller anymore.
Mm.
I don't know what is a microcontroller anymore.
May we refer you to your answer in I think DevKami number 62 or something, where you answered
Yeah.
what was the difference between a microcontroller and a system on a chip
Yeah.
and a processor or
Yeah.
something. I don't,
Yeah, you
or
can refer to that, but nowadays I don't even know anymore because you can even run neural network on a microcontroller
mm,
now, as in a
maybe.
small version of TensorFlow.
So maybe
It's crazy.
remember the commercial by Apple? There's a child that asks,
Yes.
"Mommy, what's a computer?" Then you'll have like 20 years after that, you'll have an Apple ad saying, "Mommy, what's a microcontroller?" Because everything's a
Yes.
microcontroller now. So maybe.
Correct.
What's that thing?
I hope those days we still had general purpose computing because apparently old parents bought tablets nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But the I think
So
the issue with tablets is because it's so much easy to
I
convert
would
it into a entertainment device.
let's go back to the grades. I,
yeah.
I
yes.
think um, it's not gonna be my corner because I just want to express my opinion because if if my friend that are like considerably normal user, I'm gonna advise them to get a tablet instead of a computer because is the price is not is cheaper and also it's easier to maintain, so you don't get
Yes.
like get infected with a lot of viruses or something. That's
In a way.
Yes.
yeah. Because most of the
It's
time
the security
nowadays,
models.
most people use the computer for like some document edit, a little bit of document editing, and mainly for multimedia. So I think tablets is actually pretty good enough for that, and especially nowadays, most of the office suites are available on the internet anyway.
Yeah, cloud based.
Yeah. So there is the catch for this, you see. It means that you are now limiting to what other people are providing. But okay, arguably that never really change because we are consumer culture.
Yeah.
But also means that you only can use anything that is allowed by the manufacturer.
I think
So
for
which is
me
actually very weird.
my beef with especially laptop is that for that kind of usage, getting a laptop because laptop has a certain lifespan. So like
Yeah.
for me, it's 5 years. After every year, it's a bonus. So if you spend so much money on a really good laptop just to do some of these little things, might as well get something that is more suited for like let's say more lightweight kind of usage. But of course, if you want to say, I understand what streaming is trying to say is that because the it's no longer available to that platform, so you're less chances for you to like let's say explore like suddenly I want to probably do a bit of programming, so or if I own a tablet as a main device, then probably it won't be as convenient to get started than a computer. Yeah. But I think that
Yes.
case is actually very low. But I also understand that point because a lot of us that started programming young, we just tinker around, stumble upon some manuals and start to do coding and stuff. But I think the situation is a bit different nowadays. I'm not sure. What are
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Show me your
But
opinions.
so I have other opinion as well, right? So I'm a gamer. When people tell me there is a lot of game on the tablet, it makes me angry because a tablet version of Civilization 6, for example,
I
is not
think
the same as a PC version
I think
or Kerbal Space Program.
I think we cannot dispute that a gamer will get a console or a PC.
Yeah, but there's certain type of game that is not good on console. Civilization 6,
Yeah,
Sims,
then you get a
Kerbal
PC.
Space Program.
Yeah, then you get a
Yes,
PC.
which is why I got
It's
the PC. Which is why I
it's
got the PC.
yeah, we cannot I mean you cannot deny that people who are serious in that they'll get a PC anyway. So, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like
Yes.
normal user that they just want to do a bit of let's say just want to watch an hour of movie a day, and probably
Yeah.
just do some documents like probably just uh 2 or 3 times a month, something like that, to do that accounting or something like that. I think I actually advise them to get a tablet than a computer.
Or an Android TV
Yeah.
box.
I'll just case
Yeah.
the
It is kind of an analogy of the Leo
Android
Laporte.
TV Android TV box is actually very locked down. So
What?
even though
but I thought-
even though it's
Not-
Android, but the Play Store and it only allows you to install apps that are what you call it,
Compatible, right?
designed for TV apps. Designed for TV.
Yes.
So you cannot install like Chrome and stuff on your Android TV.
And you can't install like Google Docs and then put a
No.
keyboard and then do.
No, you can't do it. Yeah.
Why?
Oh,
Why
I
don't you
want,
just
That
install
is
like
an example.
I don't know, cyanogen mod or something?
Yeah.
No, that is totally possible.
There are actually third-party
I suspect
app
it's
store like
possible.
AppToy and stuff that allows you to do this, but
Yeah.
they are not supported officially.
right.
Correct. So here's the catch, right? Yeah, most people will go there, and we say like 70% people go there. Now, as a result, the market force will lean toward general use case because that's where the market is. I think that I would be really sad because technology allow us to do so much more, and the market force make it expensive for us to do so much more.
Yeah.
And it annoys the hell out of me.
That we are doing so much. That's just like the thing by like the joke by Doc Brown. Like we have a very powerful machine in our hands that is more powerful than probably all the mainframe combined. Like at least like 50 to 60 years ago. But what do we use it for? Like taking selfies.
Yes. But even that, there's some good out of it. We had a lot of documentation of births or events than fun unknown. So there is some good. It's just that it's.
I think my philosophy is not to worry too much because I believe human being will actually always go to the right path. As long as
I have my doubt. I have my doubt.
Yeah.
I have my doubt of human
Even though I'm
being.
the regular regular cynics, but I actually believe we will always make the right decision in the end. I mean, eventually.
Yeah, tell that to the Instagrammer in the National Art Gallery.
There you go. Homo, yeah.
No. It's a bit more worse than that. It's a bit worse than FOMO.
Right.
So I think we should let Chi Leong to have some. Do you want to do introspection?
I don't have introspection. I don't have time to do introspection. Anything you want to ask me? I mean, just Chi Leong's AMA.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. Bring it on.
how where do you learn to do video
Where to-
recording and stuff?
Uh, I try to stream my gameplay.
Okay.
So I'm a person who believes that if a person wants to, they can they can learn anything on their own, because I basically learn how to swim from the internet.
Okay.
By if YouTube. Yes.
Really?
And
Okay.
I'm basically right now I'm learning how to play piano from the internet as well.
Uh,
Great place for learning.
So I believe if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't be a dentist.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, this is a question from Justin. Any Malaysian coding streamer? Yeah.
Oh, there are a few.
Yeah, a few.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
But they're all, it's not regular as far as I know.
Yeah, they are not regular, but there are a few.
show me some.
Yeah,
give me a name.
I stream sometimes. Jeffrey stream Rust sometimes.
Okay.
So
I think we should share the link somewhere later.
Yeah, I can't remember the name as well, but I think it's Amirul or somebody on the. There's another group. He does like live coding of Laravel or something. So.
yeah, good one.
Interesting.
Find out the link and we probably get him.
I'll try.
Yes.
So what else do you want to
A
ask?
disclaimer. How much do you spend on your equipment? Video streaming equipment.
What do you mean by most of the equipments are actually?
I want to stream my game. How much I should spend? I should expect
You need
to spend.
you need at least a really good computer. Your computer
not
needs to
a
support
tablet.
not exactly the the really high end stuff, but at least your computer need to support hardware encoding. You don't actually need a really expensive rig, but your processor need to support hardware encoding, and that will reduce your CPU usage by a lot. And that is pretty cheap. For get a good webcam. I believe that for like recording, if you buy cheap stuff, you're gonna buy a lot more afterwards. Anyway, you can spend more. Eventually. So, like my case is that I actually spend for the mic. This is for the outside recording. It is actually my fifth iteration. So I actually spent a lot more before that. So if you ask me like how much I spent totally, actually, there's a lot of equipments that I don't bring up, that I wish I hardly use anymore. So, but for streaming your live coding and stuff, just I think a good microphone is good enough. Is don't get the USB one, get some of the analog one, get an analog to digital converter, and that will cost you around like 200. But you get really good voice. After that, just get a webcam. Like the de facto one is the the Logitech 92 series. So they are pretty much like you basically max out like that is in total 500 ringgit. I mean for like basically pretty good setup.
So can we be rich?
I don't know. You cannot be.
Just kidding.
Yeah. For the recording, I don't want to disclose. For the meetup one, I don't want to disclose the full amount. But put it this way: for the HDMI splitter alone, including those that doesn't work, I spent 500 ringgit in total. Just for the splitter. Yeah, that I wish I actually throw them aside. Wish that doesn't work. That don't work.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of experimenting in between. So
Yeah, I can imagine.
so it's basically, of course, in the later stage, because I tried it out, I'm getting more experience. The stuff that I get are actually getting cheaper.
Yeah.
Same with the record cards. Like the pretty good enough record cards nowadays cost like 250 ringgit. So, yeah, and also like Chris actually learned how to cook from internet as well.
Oh, PC?
Yeah.
Or was it binging with Bear Beach?
I'm not sure about that though. We might want him
think
to
that
be
is
up here to talk about
Fermented.
learning how to cook.
Binging on babies.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
For cooking, I'm sort of more like less. For cooking, actually try not. I'm very lazy to try to watch or read about things because I actually fortunately because my mom is a good cook, so I just experiment around. So
But isn't that like how life skills like cooking are passed down? Like
yeah,
someone who's like knows how to cook, and then you can cook because it's survival skill. And so most
yep.
likely,
Yeah. It's like
evolution
learning.
will eventually kill off people who don't know how to cook.
I don't believe so, but
Yeah.
I believe in like passing through the knowledge because
Yeah.
it sort of become like because my mom is obsessed with getting like she likes to experiment and stuff, so she likes to cook and it sort of become her obsession. So we get to being exposed to it. You know? So it's like exposure. So like business people, like if you grew up in a very business minded people, you see a lot of opportunities or edges and like stuff that normal people will not so visible to other people. I mean, sort of example.
Right.
Yeah, so we have a few comments saying, do you want to bring
Yeah,
it up?
yeah, of course. Yeah,
When it
yeah,
is your hobby or pleasure.
yeah.
Mm.
But the
Uh,
problem is if you run out of money
yeah.
to pursue your passion or hobby, then you're forced to do another job that
Yeah.
will actually pay the
I
bills.
believe that I believe for especially in a lot of like equipments like photography or at least musical equipment, like don't start with the really entry level stuff. Even though it's a bit more expensive, get the better one so that you don't have to buy so much more. That's my opinion. So even like
Yes.
camera, if you start with an entry level, because soon you realize like the shortcoming and stuff, you be eager, especially when you're during in the heat of the passion. you
Yes.
you're very susceptible to like purchase your no not regulate the willpower is becoming lower. So,
Yeah, that's why I want to get a S7 4.
okay, look at you.
Just
So
kidding.
the thing
I
is
actually
that
like my old camera. It's good. Old-ish camera.
yeah yeah
A6000 is very old
I think what
model.
Jesse is trying to say is you either when
Yeah,
or
so
let
it's sink or
Yeah.
swim, right? You get
Have
thrown into the
deep
deep
end.
end, and then
Yeah.
it's a sink or swim.
yeah
And that's why I'm saying it's when when evolution comes along and
yeah
picks people who will
yeah.
survive or not, I think the people who
Uh,
know how to cook are the ones who will survive.
I think I actually think not swimming the person, but the action, the swimming, the act, the act of actually not getting drowned is more important. I believe everybody should learn how to swim.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it will come in handy.
Learn from
I
him.
No,
learn
I'm
from
talking.
YouTube.
Yeah, I'm talking about survival of the gene pool, right?
Oh,
So if you don't know how to cook, most likely, um, you're not going to get anyone to date and have children with.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's
I
actually
maybe it's a
true.
different thing. Maybe it's a different
exactly.
thing nowadays where it's romantic for someone to cook for their partner.
I think that the very important part for me in terms of cooking and stuff is not necessarily about it's about like our relationship with food.
Hmm.
Like we can easily develop an unhealthy relationship, like basically like certain biases that stop us from
Eating
eating
healthy.
certain food that eat healthy
Yeah, and
or
that's what I'm.
yeah,
This is what I'm saying, right? So all of these, like you learn from being able to cook. So these are things that help the survival of your gene
yeah,
pool, and which
Mhm.
is why
okay,
being able to
yeah,
display like the skill of cooking to a possible partner that you can
yeah,
have children with,
yeah,
like this is like all our normal triggers, right? Like evolutionary triggers, like, oh, this person has a good body, like a healthy body without any lesions, skin lesions or skin disease, which is why like a good skin condition is very important. That's why we bathe and we shower so that we can show the potential partners that we are a healthy person who might eventually carry your genes. It's the same word with cooking,
And
I
you
think,
just
that this is a show
you're
of
just talking
skill.
you're describing social evolution.
Mm.
You're describing
Are we
social
going back to
evolution.
swimming's reflection and pontification
Yeah.
corner?
Okay.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
swimming
What you're
to
describing is essentially what you're describing just social evolution.
Okay.
We develop beneficial social behavior so that we survive. As a result, we develop more and more of such trait in the future, i.e., cooking. In my case, don't follow me because I can't cook. Except if there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm good. Follow Tristan or Chilia.
Yeah, I actually disagree with that. Yeah, I mean, no, so that, but you can still drown, so you have to pick it up again.
Yeah.
But I think once you pick up during adulthood, you stick with you forever. You become a natural reflexes because we know how to get comfortable with water. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
speaking of babies, right? We act so mammals in general have this reflex called like where you automatically hold your breath
yep,
when your face gets wet.
yep,
So it's a
Mhm.
reflex, and which is why anyone, even those who are afraid to swim, you know, when you go into the water and your whole body is like submerged, you automatically hold your breath. And this is
yep,
one of the things that you need to unlearn when you're diving, because you don't
yep,
hold your breath underwater. You have to like let out like bubbles, right? When you're just floating underwater. And the way children, like babies, are trained to swim is that they get thrown into the water, of course, but like with safety, if someone is actually going to catch them. But you would notice that babies who are thrown into the water and then they get submerged, they know how to hold their breath.
yep.
And
And they open their eyes.
yeah, so it's like they it's a reflex. Like as a mammal, like cats, dogs, everyone know automatically how to swim. Well, not
But
necessarily
we,
swim, know how to
yep.
orient themselves and float and
But
get themselves to survive.
but what we pick up is that we develop fear and
Hmm.
the kind of like panic reflexes that will actually stop us from floating and
Yeah.
being able to
So
survive
that
underwater.
so the if the holding breath, I forgot the technical term, but apnea something. Uh, like the apnea means like breath is like
Not
stopped.
breathing. Yeah.
Yeah, not breathing, but some kind of
Suddenly,
apnea reflex is so it happens. It's natural for the mammals, but the fear response to swimming into water is learned
Yeah.
afterward.
Yep.
And that is something that I don't know if it's a survival thing, or it's just like just because like we're living in such a coddled world that
Yep.
we don't we don't have any rivers or any kind of water bodies of water to go into in order to survive, because we can get food, can get fish delivered to us via Grab, for example. We don't even have to cook it
I
because
also
it's
found out recently that
food
oh,
necessary.
we are actually babies are actually pitch perfect. If you
Uh,
don't if you don't train early, we actually lose it up. So it's
I would say
ooh,
I wouldn't say it's immediately pitch perfect.
yeah,
Their minds, or well, their brains are malleable
yeah,
such that like for example, languages, they can learn any kind of
yeah,
language even if you're born like from the US, right? Like a US citizen born in China and then raised in China would know how to speak Chinese better than they would speak Americans. It's not
yeah,
about your genes, it's about
yeah,
um,
the
because you're very
environment.
malleable. But there's a
yeah,
certain point, like, so it's the same with pitch. The theory is that pitch is also learnable, where you associate a certain pitch with a certain note. Of course, this is all very westernized because the Western um, musical system like our like do re mi fa sol, like those pitches and those intervals are specific to Western music. Other music like I think the ancient Chinese 5 stringed instruments have a different interval. Like some groups in Southeast Asia have a different interval as well. So that can be pitch perfect as well. But after some years, the brain solidifies and it becomes very difficult to integrate new knowledge. But of course, the advantage then there is that you are able to use past experience to survive in the world.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, just absorb everything and then
I'm not
crystallize
sure.
and use that.
I'm not sure if it's a very personal experience, but I'm not sure if it's really relatable. I mean, it's actually a general thing, but I find it as I grew older, it's actually harder for me to code switch.
Mm.
So I might sometimes, like when I'm speaking in English, I can suddenly utter Chinese words something like that. I lose control of the context because for like polymath, the language is actually an abstract thing within our head. So when we spew it up, I actually lose control of the words that I spew out.
Are you saying it's an age thing? That's why everyone
No, because it get for me.
old people wants it like get off my lawn and
Yeah.
stop changing math or something.
Yeah. Anyway, we have to wrap up, but we have a last comment from Chris Lowe. This is very convenient. That's good.
Right.
Yeah. So
Profound, yeah.
we are deeper or shallower. Yeah, depends.
So that's
I
it.
think anything?
If you like, we need to wrap up now.
Mm.
So if you like our today's experiment, give us a like. We just check. Today is mostly to experiment with this new platform.
I think I like this platform.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's more
I like
stable. Seems to be more stable.
But
Oh,
so I need to figure the internet because the internet is literally across the wall,
Alright.
and there's no plug between here and the wall, so I have a problem. Let me figure out later.
Yep. And for this, before I close, click like and subscribe.
Yeah, press the bell icon.
Oh, I like this.
Press the bell, you see the bell. You know, press the
Yeah,
bell.
press the
You
bell
know
so
how
you
to-
get the new broadcast and upload some notifications.
And visit devkami.com. It's not updated, but you probably should update it again soon.
We should update it soon. DevKami.com. Yeah.
All right, I guess that's
So
about
that's
it
it.
for today. Yep. Bye,
Yeah,
folks.
I'm waving my hand now, so goodbye.
I'm waving. Bye, folks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. And then.